Guys, it's about a little bit after 10 in the morning. I slept in just a little bit today. I wanted to come out and talk to y'all because I know there's some things I need to clear up from the previous videos. So 2 videos ago, I explained to y'all I decided to come back and to the South where my children are, and I told y'all about my strategic plan. So the plan is in motion. It is brewing. Now, I told you guys before that this might be a little dangerous, so I have to be careful and tread lightly, pray and have God with me at all times. And so far everything is working out, but I have to continue to pray and tread lightly. And I have to continue to keep moving the way that I'm moving because everything is working. So I have to keep this strategic plan going, and things should work out in my favor. The only reason why I believe the plan is working right now is because God is on my side. That's what I truly believe. And at the end of the day, God is going to move on people's behalves who deserve to have their behalf to be moved upon. And God knows all and sees all, and He's going to fix what's broken that we can't fix. Looking to make sure my husband ain't coming outside. So yeah. And then too, I learned something. I keep holding the camera down and getting lazy. I should have brought my camera holder so I could hold this a lot easily, but I just didn't feel like fidgeting around with it, so I'm holding it with my hand. But I learned something recently, and I've been going through some things because I've been dealing with a lot of childhood trauma. And I'm not trying to show that truck's license plate. Let me get right here. I keep showing it anyway. I don't know how to. There we go. I've been dealing with a lot of childhood trauma, you guys. And one of the things that helped me get some closure recently was I spoke to my foster mother, the woman who raised me. And we talked about a lot of things that I had issues with. We talked about things that I had questions about. She answered my questions. She told me some things that I had no clue of. I ain't gonna do all this walking too far because I don't want to walk too far from the house. But it was very, very therapeutic for me. It was very helpful. I got a lot of closure that I needed. And I feel like a whole ton of weight has been lifted off my shoulders. Like, honestly, I don't get mad about these things anymore. It doesn't upset me anymore. I don't even really too much think about it anymore. And it's just truly amazing. Like, that's a huge piece of me beginning to heal. And I'm so grateful to God for this. Like, that part of my drama is gone. And if it's not gone, it's fading away. You know what I mean? And one of the things that I realized that I'm dealing with in my marriage is my childhood traumas plus my husband's childhood traumas. You know what I mean? And I'm not giving this man no excuse. Because, see, this is the thing that us women have a tendency to do, is we give these men excuses. And we have to make them take my hair sometimes don't want to stay. We have to make them take full responsibility for their actions, just like us women have to take responsibility for our actions. And I just feel like with my children being gone, I'm paying for his choices that he made that affected our little family that we created together. I'm paying for his mishaps, his mistakes, his challenges, his weaknesses. And one thing he shared with me was, the reason why he chose for our children to be with his mom and sisters because he can't care for them. That's what he told me. He shared this with me, and I don't think he meant to. I just think he finally got to a point where he wanted to open up to me and he broke down. And since he can't care for them, he thought it was best that his mom and sister step in and help out. But here's the thing. I told him, I said, that's fine and all that you're using your family to get help, but that's not the kind of help I need with my kids. I can take care of my children. Now, granted, I do need assistance because we all need help in this world getting things done and doing things, and especially raising kids. I never once said I didn't need help raising my children. I do need help raising those kids. I need assistance, but I never said that I need the kind of help that means that my children don't need to be in my care, don't need to be in my possession, don't need to be at home with me. You know what I mean? And so I asked him, I said, so what does that have to do with me? Why do I have to give my children away because you feel like you can't care for them? Like, that's unfair to me. And you never sat down and talked to me about these things. You just made decisions and you went behind my back doing things and making plans. And that really, really hurt me. That really, really bothered me. And I am really, really pissed off about it. Like, I'm angry, I'm hurt, I'm pissed off, I'm offended, everything, right? And he was like, just give us some time to get on our feet and get our shit right. And I asked him, I said, because you don't have your shit right, why do I have to get my shit right? I got a job. I work a full-time job. I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to do as a mom, as a wife, and as a sister, as a daughter. Why do I have to pay the price for something that you feel like you need to improve in your life? Like, why am I being punished for something that you need to make improvements on in your life? He couldn't answer that. So, to make a long story short, the reality is this man cannot care for these kids, but apparently I am unfit because he can't care for them. But I get it. We're married and we're one, and we're looked at as a unit, right? We're looked at as one because we're married. But just because he feel like he's struggling with something does not mean that I'm struggling with it too. We're two different people. We're two different individuals. We are dealing with different things. We're on different paths in our lives. And this is another reason why I feel like we're struggling so hard to get along and to treat each other with decency, is because he's on a totally different level than I'm at in my life. He's at a totally different level in his life than where I'm at in mine. He's struggling with something totally different than me. I'm struggling with something totally different than him. But where we both can meet at in the middle, and what we both have in common, is we are both dealing with childhood trauma. Childhood trauma, you guys, is something serious. It's something really serious. And if you don't deal with it when you were a kid and get over it, it would spill over into your life when you are an adult, and it starts affecting you when you are an adult in these big ways, like in ways that really cost you a lot of things in life. So, growing up in foster care, that's a whole separate thing in itself. Losing my mother at 10 years old, that's a whole nother separate thing in itself. My mother passing away, trying to get out of this cop's way, let him by. My husband, he grew up without his father. His father was living in the South. His mother left the South and moved to the West Coast, to California, and raised her two children. My husband was born in the South, and he left the South when he was 1 year old. And then, but his father never took care of him, never raised him. His mother and grandmother did all the work. His mother and grandmother raised him. And his stepfather helped raise him too. So my husband has daddy issues, okay? And then let's go to me. My father didn't raise me either. My father was with my mother. My mother wanted to get married. My father did not want to get married. He claimed that he wasn't ready. That hurt my mother's feelings. So that caused my mother to go on this wild goose chase, running the streets, trying to have fun with her life, trying to prove something to my dad. But what she ended up doing was meeting somebody who backdoored on her, got sick with AIDS by having sex with men in these gay clubs. He brought it back home to her. She ended up getting the disease. It got the best of her. She got real sick. She died. But my father was always in and out of my life. He never really did his part as my father. He never raised me, took care of me. He came by to visit like once every 3 to 5 to 7 years. He would pop up and give me one visit, and then I wouldn't see him again for the next 3 to 5 to 7 years. That's how my father was in my life to me. He was always popping in and out of my life, and he was only there for a brief moment every time he was there. My father, in my teenage years, I found out things about my dad that really just blew my mind, broke my heart, all those things. My father had this problem where he was watching porn, and I decided to stay with my dad when I was 17 because I wanted to get to know my dad. And I hurt my foster dad and my foster mom's feelings because they really loved me and cared about me, you know what I'm saying? So when I went to go stay with my biological dad, that hurt their feelings. But anyway, when I went to stay with my dad for the beginning, the first half of my 17th year, and it was my end of my 11th grade year going into the beginning of my senior year in high school, I found out that my dad had some problems. He was one day watching porn, and I probably should not have been in there, but I was in there with him. And he was laying in the bed. I was laying in the bed. I forget what I was doing. I was probably watching it. I shouldn't have been. But my father, he moved his hand toward me slowly but surely. He kept making, progress, steady, slow moves with his hands coming toward me. And then it finally got on my waistline and on my butt, and then I took his hand and moved it because I just felt like, why would my father be putting his hand on me, It just, the whole aura in that room was just off. It was unsettling, uncomfortable. It was weird. It was awkward. It was disgusting. And I just had to get up and leave. So I got out the bed and I left. And I never talked about it again. But he brought it up again like a few days later, close to a week later. He was crying, obsessively crying and apologizing to me and saying how sorry he was that he ever thought these things about me and in this type of way. And how dare he even have these feelings for his own daughter, his own child. And he was like, Shantae, you are a very attractive young lady, and you embody everything that I look for in a woman. And it's so hard because you, my child, my daughter, you are just so beautiful. And then then he was like, I'm so sorry that, I crossed the line the other day. That should have never happened. Please forgive me. As your father, please forgive me. And he was crying, uncontrollably crying. And I didn't know how to feel other than the fact that I still felt disgusted. I still felt violated. So that apology did not heal me. You know what I mean? So I went on with life carrying that, you know what I mean, for like many years. And then fast forward, I get pregnant with my first child while in college, and I'm 19. And I give birth to my son when I'm 20. My baby daddy leaves me and dumps me. So I'm figuring out how to live life on my own as a new mom with a baby by myself. Then I meet my husband 6 months later. And here's the crazy part. See, how I met my husband, I was leaving my dad's house because I made this like daily routine to go visit my dad and spend time with him because I wanted to have that relationship with my father, even though those things happened with us. I really wanted to repair that relationship with my father and I so badly. So I was the one making stride moves to repair that relationship, not really so much my father. My father don't call on birthdays, holidays. He don't call. He don't check in on me. He don't check in on his grandkids, nothing. But anyway, I was leaving my dad's house from visiting him with my baby. And we were walking toward the bus stop. I had him in the stroller. And my husband just so happened to be standing in front of this liquor store. And I was walking past the liquor store. And usually guys would get at me and be like, hey, what's your name? Blah, 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 this, that, and the third. I would give them a fake name, a fake number. But for some reason, there was something about him that just made me feel okay with him. Something that made me feel good about him and trust him. It was something about him that made me feel like he could be trusted. So basically, I took a chance on him. So fast forward, we talking. We were good friends, and I'm dating him and then dumping him back and forth, off and on. Because really, at that time, I didn't know what the hell I wanted. I still wasn't even over my baby daddy. You know what I mean? I was still in love with him. I was still in love with my son's father. So I was dumping him, and we back together, and then dumping him some more because I really didn't know what I want. I just knew that I still had feelings for my son's father, and I just wasn't ready to fully move on yet. So then we finally get together this one last time. Things is going smooth. Things is going cool. We end up getting married. But why am I sharing this story? Before my husband and I met, my father and my husband knew each other before my husband and I met each other. And my husband used to sell drugs. He used to roam the streets in Oakland and sell drugs. And my father was one of his customers, okay? Now, this is a total coincidence, total like life path type thing. I think God has everything happening for a reason. This is like life and destiny playing out, okay? So my husband sold drugs. He ran the streets. He did his thing. He went to jail. He was in trouble with the law a lot. But my father was one of my husband's customers. My husband sold drugs. My father bought the drugs. Whatever drugs he needed, he bought from my husband. So my father and husband knew each other before my husband and I knew each other, before my husband and I met. When my father finally found out who my husband was, he was like so against it, talking about why you want to thug Shantae and he's not the right person for you. And you know, when you young, you think you know it all. You think you done figured it out. You ain't listening to what your parents is trying to give you warnings about. I wasn't listening to my dad. I was just like, all I was thinking about is, oh, he don't like him and he's trying to find reasons to say why I don't need to be with him. So I ignored all of that. I ignored all that noise. And so fast forward, the day of my wedding day, my foster mother was in the car with me because we was on our way driving to my mother-in-law's house, because this is where we were getting married at, in her front yard. She kept telling me, Shantae, this is not the right person for you. You don't need to go and marry this man, because something is telling me in my spirit, this ain't the one, Shantae. And I didn't want to listen. I didn't want to listen to her. So she was the second person that warned me. And I didn't want to listen. I was hard-headed. I was young. I was dumb. I thought I knew what I was doing. I thought I knew it all. I so bad wanted to move on from my son's dad. I so bad needed to have a way to just move on from being in love with my son's dad. I so bad wanted my son and I to have a family, somebody to complete me and my son as a family. I so bad wanted that. I wanted that family to complete me and my son. I wanted a way to move on from my son's father. And I wanted something for me. I wanted to feel like I was made whole, and I wanted to feel like I was accomplishing something with my life, because college didn't work out. I ended up getting pregnant in college, and it started costing me money and time that I didn't have to finish college. So I just was feeling unfulfilled in my life at that time. I was young. I thought I had it figured out. I thought my husband was the one, because the way that he was acting toward me, he was acting like he was the one. He treated my son so good. He gravitated toward my son in ways that a lot of guys that I did date at the time did not. He treated me so good. He was very respectful, and all these other cats during that time was disrespectful, using me for sex, using me for money, using me for whatever they probably wanted out of me at the time. And my husband wasn't doing it. He was coming at me in a totally different way. He approached me in a totally different way. He had my attention, y'all. Like, he had my attention. And when I was young, how young girls say, oh, you ain't got no game. Your game is weak or whatever. But no, he had some strong game, because he had me in the palm of his hand. Okay. He knew how to say the right things and do the right things. And he had me, he had me hooked. So fast forward all of that. What am I saying? What is the point? I had warnings and I didn't listen, you guys. God used my father and my foster mother to warn me, and I didn't listen. But here I am today at 37 and a half years old, and I'm having all kind of problems. My kids are taken from me. My kids are not even living with me. That hurts me. That bothers me. My kids wants to live with my in-laws because they believe that my in-laws can take better care of them, because my in-laws got more money. They can dangle trinkets in front of my kids and get them to believe that this is a better life. And that's the way kids are going to think. You know what I'm saying? Kids are going to think that You know, since I can get what I want, get toys and trinkets and the food and the fun that I want to live with them because that's what they can do for me. But not knowing that the person who really has your best interest is your parent, your mother, your father, the people who brought you into this world by God's grace. Those are the people that really have your best interests at heart. They ain't caring about your grades, really. They're not caring about you eating healthy. They ain't caring about none of that. All they care about is they can dangle these things in front of y'all and get y'all to believe that they can, you know, take better care of y'all or parent y'all better than me. But they really can't. I love the hell out of my kids, man. I'd do anything for my kids. I fucking came back here for them. You see what I'm saying? I'm dealing with a dangerous situation, a dangerous person for them. So that just shows how far my love goes for my kids. And they ain't understanding that. They just got to grow up a little bit and understand that and mature some, and they'll understand. But anyway, when you're dealing with childhood trauma, a lot of times in your adult life, you'll find yourself in these very dangerous, very messy situations. I'm dealing with a narcissist, y'all. And not only am I dealing with a narcissist, but I'm dealing with a family full of narcissists. Okay? And not only am I dealing with narcissism, but I'm dealing with substance abuse, alcoholism. Okay? My father is an alcoholic. My mother-in-law is an alcoholic. My husband is a pothead. So I'm dealing with people who got substance abuse issues and who are addicts, okay? I'm dealing with addicts, substance abuse, alcoholism, and narcissism. And then children being brainwashed and tricked into believing certain things about me that's not true, all bottled up in one big ass ball. And here's the thing. I work hard, I pay my bills, I do what I'm supposed to do, and I still get all of this disappointment, pain, and hurt in my life, struggle, you know, and I just feel like, God, why me? You know what I mean? Like, God, why me? But God showed me why me, because I was warned, you guys, I was warned and I didn't listen. I was young, though. See, here's the thing. I was young. I didn't know any better and thought I did. I'm almost 40 years old, guys, and I'm now at the point in my life where everything is starting to make sense, slowly but surely. I don't care about the latest shoe, the latest style, outfit, when I did when I was in my 20s. I don't care about a man having money, and I don't even care about having a man. To be quite honest, I'd rather be by myself, and that's what I told my husband. I probably shouldn't have told him that, but I was frustrated with him when I said this to him. I would rather be by myself with my kids than to be with a man who constantly causes me heartache, grief, disappointment, and hurt and pain, and mental abuse, emotional abuse, verbal abuse. And not only a man who does those things to me, but his mother is doing them too. His mother is a part of it. So I don't want that. I don't want to get in a new relationship with somebody and then get to know somebody all over again and then have to like work extra hard to try to impress somebody all over again. I don't want to do that. And I don't want to bring no other man around my kids. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be with another person ever again. Now, I might find somebody in my lifetime that might be the right fit, right attitude, right character, right all that. And I might end up dating them or whatever, but I just, right now in my mind, I don't want to be with nobody else. Don't want to deal with nobody else. I just don't want to. And here's the thing. The desire that I have is for me, myself, my children. And that's where I'm at in my life. And this might sound selfish, but I love me. I don't love nobody else right now, and it's probably selfish to say this, but I don't even love my husband. I love those kids, and I love me. That's who I love. And it took me a while to get to this point, you guys. I didn't always love myself the way I love myself now. I didn't always think about what's important for me and what's helpful for me. I didn't always think that way, but I'm thinking this way now. This man, he does not like hearing the fact that I will be okay without him. I will be fine without him, and I don't need another man to fill that void either. So he's shocked hearing this come from me. He's shocked that I even feel this way. He doesn't even think that it's even possible, but it's possible. All you got to do is start loving yourself. It's possible. You know what I mean? And that's anybody. See, the problem with most men is they think, especially young and middle-aged men, they think that us women need men to complete our lives or be successful in life or to be happy in life. No, we don't need a man. All you need is Jesus. All you need is God. That's it. You don't need no man to do nothing for you, because man will constantly disappoint you. And the Bible says this: man will always disappoint you, but God never will. Never. And he will always come through for you. It may not be the time that you want God to do it, but he's always on time. And God will always come through for you when he knows the time to come through, when he sees fit. So yeah, that's what it is. I'm dealing with childhood trauma, all of this madness, all of these problems. My kids are away from me. I'm being accused of being an unfit parent, which we know the devil is a lie. I have never been an unfit parent, not even since I had my first child. I always figured it out. I always made it. God always helped me get through things. It is what it is, man. You know, it is what it is. But I'm going to end this video because it's getting a little too long, but I wanted to just share that with you guys. I will be making another video soon about some other things, so that way it's broken into 2 videos, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Later.